Hello and welcome to part 3 of a coding challenge, and I don't know, they're individual coding challenges, they're a part of a sequence of coding challenges, who knows? But in this particular one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this traveling salesperson problem again, a random list of 8 cities, and right now the program is just randomly trying possibilities to see if it can find the best one. And I'm going to look at how we could combine that with this thing I worked on in the previous challenge, which is looking at every permutation of a list of numbers or letters sorting in lexical order, which is like an alphabetical order type thing. So here you can see this is running. It's going to take a very long time to check every possibility, but I want to take this code and I want to combine it with the traveling salesperson problem to check every possibility in order, which I think will be an interesting thing to do. So let's look at that. So the first thing that I want to do, and honestly, there's probably, I can tell you for sure, that after I finish this, I could easily make another 10 or 15 minute video that's just kind of like refactoring the code to sort of organize it nicely in my, hyper desire to have like things always organized. But I'm gonna let it be loose in this video. So I'm just gonna like copy paste code around, move stuff around, and kind of use stuff together in a bit of a haphazard way just to demonstrate it working. And then you should remind me when I publish the code. I'll make a nice neat version for you with some comments and things organized in a way you can kind of compare those two. But anyway, let's just keep moving. And so what I want to do is I want to basically start taking things. So I want to take this array vowels from the lexical order example, and I want to bring it into the traveling salesperson example. And if you haven't watched the previous 2 videos, you don't need to, but you might want to go back and see how these pieces of code were developed. And what I actually don't want to do here is I don't want to initialize it, hard code it, and I think I'm going to call this order now, because really this is going to be the thing that's keeping track of the order for me. And I need a number for every city. So all I need to do add here is right here in this loop is say orders index I equals I. So I just create an array, and I need to initialize it as an array. So in JavaScript, I've got this array, and the array is going to start if there are 8 cities, and let's just do it with 4 cities just to sort of see. It's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. Okay, so that's good. So that's the first step. Now what I want to do is I'm actually going to take this entire algorithm, and I'm going to put it in a separate function. I'm just going to say copy, and I'm going to go into my lexical one, and I'm going to just go to the bottom. I'm just going to add a lot of line breaks and just paste it down here. And I'm just going to say here like, this is my lexical order algorithm. And I'm going to write here, I'm going to call this a function now, next order. So I'm going to put all of this in a function called next order. Could be just called next or next ordering. And what this is going to do is it's going to take, and actually this is much easier than I even imagined, and maybe I don't have to refactor this that much. I called it order instead of vowels, so I'm going to have to I could probably do a find and replace or some, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it for a second and put order everywhere now. So I now have this algorithm. And what I want to do is I want to make my canvas taller. I'm going to make it 600, but I'm still going to only pick points in the top. And then what I want to do is I want to use this quick little algorithm to write text to the screen so I can see. I want to put this at the very end, and I know I'm doing this kind of quickly, so I'm kind of trying to talk you through what I'm doing. It'll make more sense once you see it. And this again is order. I'm just combining the code. I'm not actually logically combining the code. I'm just taking all the code from one example and putting it in places in a previous example. And then what I want is to have this be at like the bottom of the window, somewhere down here. And if I hit refresh, whoops, I'm in the wrong example. Oops, I got to go to localhost and find that example again, TSP lexical, and I have some errors here. So orders is not defined, sketch.js line 15. It's called order, thank you. And you can see, okay, so what I have now is the random selecting and the order being displayed below. Ooh, and by accident, because I have a stroke and a fill, I have these nice outline characters that make me kind of happy. So now all I need to do in draw is say next order. Like in draw, I want every time I want to try the next possibility. So vowels is not defined, sketch.js line number 97. That's a place where I forgot it, which would make sense for me to have done a find and replace on 109. But this is a perfectly fine way of finding those spots. 119, boy, I really did a terrible job. I can see some other spots now. I barely got anything. Oops, and I don't want this anymore. That was the drawing part. So we can see here now, it looks like it's working, right? Because it looks like it's trying every possibility here, but it's not actually using this order as the order of things for the traveling salesperson order of cities. So now I need to, instead of randomly picking an order of cities, I need to try the order based on what's here. I want to try city 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. Okay, here we go. So now what I want to do is where do I get the order from? The order basically, so this is kind of an interesting thing that's happening here. What I'm going to do is change right now I was actually moving the vectors around in that cities array, but the cities or the array now is no longer something that I ever need to touch. The thing that I'm keeping track of is actually the order array. So I'm going to redo this first by just saying, what I want is to go through every single element in order. Actually, so here's me just drawing all the cities. So this is actually not the path. So this I can leave. I'm just drawing a circle where every city is. And I'm going to take out the best ever thing for a second because I'm going to have to adjust that. But what I want to do here is I want to go through that order array. And the particular city that I want to draw, city n, for lack of a better word, is at order index I. So I want to go through the order array and set the order as 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, whatever's in there. So now the index, that order array essentially becomes a lookup. So I think this might be, I have this sort of like gut feeling, even though you're just somebody on the internet watching a video and I'm a random person in a room talking to myself, that this is not entirely clear. So let's clarify this. These are the cities: Kuala Lumpur, Rio, Oslo. I'm trying to think of a diverse set of cities from around the world. So those are the cities, but I'll just call them A, B, and C. And this is the order, which is an array that has something like 1, 2, 0. So A, B, C. What I want to do is start here and say, okay, the first city is 1, which means it's B. So I'm here right now. Then the next city is 2, which is C, which means I travel to here. And then the next city is 0, which is here, which means I travel to here. So this never changes. This is the thing that's changing around and what we use to inform the order we draw here. Okay, now I've come back, and this should hopefully make a little more sense to you. And I could run this now, and we could see it's doing every possibility. Now, I'm not getting the best possibility because I actually haven't fixed that testing yet, but you can see that it's kind of checking every possibility and drawing it in that order. And I might be able to, if I reduce the frame rate, hopefully we could see that kind of happen as you see it checking each order and then going to the next one. And there's some other weird goofiness going on the way that I'm because I haven't gotten to the next step. So the thing that's the best ever now is no longer actually a copy of the array of the cities. It's a copy of a particular order. So best ever, distance can, calc distance has to change. Because now when I calculate the distance, I need to calculate the distance between these cities based on a particular order. So let's go to that calc distance function. It's going to be a particular order. And now, as I go through the order, I'm going to say city A is points order index I. Woo! Right? Because I need to go into that array and find the one that's at the spot in the order. Let's write this in 2 lines of code. City A index is order index I. And then the actual city, and let's just, let's write long, is the actual point at that spot, right? So I need to use that order to look up what city am I at. And then I want to do that with B, city B index, city B index, and that's I plus 1. Remember, that's the next one in the order. And then I want to get the distance between city A's x, cities A is Y, city B X. I like have to like think about this while I'm doing it. City B Y. Okay, that makes sense. So we've got to use that order again now to calculate the distance. So it became a little more complicated. And of course, you could condense this code, and I might think about it later of a different way to write it. But I'm writing it in the most number of steps to try to make it as clear as possible. Okay, so now we have that distance. So that works. I have calculated the distance between these cities based on this order. And if it's the record distance, I want to save not the cities, but the order. Then I'm drawing the cities based on, I'm just drawing all the cities. Then I'm drawing them based on the order that I'm currently checking. And then now I want to draw them. I want this exact same loop, but I want to draw the best one. So instead of getting the order from the current order array, I want to get it from the best ever array. And we should see now, if I run this and I've done it correctly, oops, length of undefined, sketch.js, line 86. What problem have I done? Order is undefined. I have a second place where I'm calculating distance based on the order. And swapping, oh no, forget about this swapping. Get rid of the swapping. I don't want to swap, I'm not ever swapping. That would have been a big bug if I had left that in there by accident. Found that luckily. Am I not going to next order? No? Okay, so what's going on? I got to debug this. Do I have no loop somewhere? I'm back. It actually was working. I just was impatient. My frame rate was at 1. But I do have an error here. Sketch.js at line 48. Dun, dun, dun. What's happening in line? Cities n. Okay. So n is, Okay, so why did I get an undefined? So hold on, let's look at cities. Has 4 things in it. Let's look at order, 0, 2, 1, 3. Let's look at best ever. Something's wrong still. For whatever reason, I'm not getting the order, the numbers in best ever. So let's see everywhere I'm doing something with best ever. There, order.slice. I still had cities.slice here, so this has to be order. And so now we can see, here we are checking every possibility one frame at a time. And you can see the current thing that I'm checking is drawn in white. And actually, that should be after so you can see it. Just so you can see it on top. I'm just going to switch the order around for a second of the drawing stuff. And I'm going to make the frame rate 5, just so you can see that a little better. So you can see it trying every possibility, and essentially it'll get to the end. And when it gets to the end, I kind of, in a way, like just drawing the current order. I don't have, so this could be this is a challenge for you guys to sort of visualize this better. And actually, I have an idea. I have a better idea. So what I'm going to do now is actually translate 0 height divided by 2. I just want to draw these in different places. So, whoops, for the second one. And then the where I'm drawing the text is actually just height divided by 2 minus 50. So what I think would work better here is for you to see, and I don't think, actually, to be honest, like I don't feel a huge need to draw the permutations, but you can see at the bottom, I'm trying every permutation, and the current best one is at the top. And was it really the last one? Let's run this with, let me take out, no, let me just run this a few times. I wonder if that's a bug in my code. No, okay, good. That was just a coincidence. So here, the last one is not the best one. And what we can do, first of all, I want to take out console. I want to add a couple things to this. I want to take out, I want to get rid of this test to see if that was working. And I want to, sorry, I was looking at the chat for a second. I want to make the total cities 8. And let's take the frame rate up to as fast as it'll go. And we can see, here it is, trying every single possibility. And every time it finds one that's better, it puts it up top. So you can see, I don't know, maybe that's the best one actually. It might have found it, and at some point it's going to stop. Now, I don't know where it is. So one thing I would like to do is be able to calculate the percentage finish. Now, the thing is, we might run into, so this is kind of done, and you could stop watching this video and kind of take this and think of a more creative way to visualize this or do something interesting with it. But I just want to have a sense of how far I am to being done. So one thing I want to do is I want to know total permutations. I want to calculate that. Total permutations equals, I have no doubt this is not a function in JavaScript, math.factorial total cities. Now, what's the chance that that gives me something? Yeah, math.factorial is not a function. So let's write our own. I'm just going to go to the bottom here. Writing a function for factorial merits its own video, but I'm going to do it really quickly here and just say that if n equals 1, return 1, otherwise return n times n minus 1, and that's not right. N times factorial of n minus 1, right? So factorial is 5 of 5 is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And factorial of 4 is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So factorial of 5 is 5 times 4 factorial, which is 5 times 4 times 3 factorial, which is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial, which is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 factorial. And 1 factorial is equal to 1. And this is a little recursive function which just does that. So I think I have another video where I actually go through that in detail. I'll try to link to that here. But so we can say total here with 8 is factorial of totals. So I'm going to say total permutations. I just want to see what number I get. 40,320. So percentage, I can also say, now I can have a count going. And I can say in draw, or next order really, I can say count plus plus, and maybe that should go at the end, but I'm feeling lazy right now. And I can say now what I want to actually do is calculate a percent, which is 100 times the count divided by the total permutations. And I want to see percent completed. And let's make that a little bit smaller. It'll just be there at the bottom and see what happens. And it might be nice here to number format that. I think P5 has a function number format NF, where I can say just give me 2 decimal places to look at, and we can see now. And I could say percent. So even with 8, you can see how long this is going to take doing only one possibility, 60 frames per second. Let's at least make sure that this is kind of working correctly by reduce this number to 5. And we can see here, we're going to get through 100, and my counting is off, and where I'm calculating in no loop, but you get the idea here. So now I'm able to see this is now me checking every single possibility and getting the fastest one. Let's look at 6. And just out of curiosity, is this program even going to run if I go up to like 20 cities? Oh, something is oh, you know why it's not working? Is because 20 factorial is a number too big to store in a variable, and I would need some sort of JavaScript library, I think, for big numbers. I think that's particularly correct. Because this I ran into when I was working in my Java example. I needed to use longs, and I might have even needed to use like a big number Java library. But that's only for the percentage calculation, because I don't actually need to know the total number of possibilities to check every possibility. I just need to check every next one. So this 8% calculated is absolutely wildly incorrect. But I think if I do 10, am I going to get something? 10, I'm still going to get something about right, because that's a reasonable number, several million. So I encourage you to run this on your own for a while, see if it comes up with something that looks right. But honestly, what I would like is, can you make some kind of interactive system that allows users to place points? Can you make a game or a simulation where things are following all the points? Can you actually have it act out people searching for Pokemon or sales people walking to sell things, or I don't know, you should music playing as, you should be more creative with this. Okay, thanks for watching. I've got one more left to do, which is do exactly this, but use a genetic algorithm to evolve the best path. Thanks for watching.